Kiss news, you can now live like a rock star, at least through Airbnb. Ace Frehley's former residence is now an Airbnb. It says cross through the iron gates, over a stone bridge, up a circular driveway with a garden pond and a waterfall, and you will arrive at this 6,400 square foot 4-bedroom home. It's situated in 70 acres of private land. There's hiking trails. It says it makes the perfect escape. This is a newly renovated house that Ace used to own. And it says here you can even come in here and record in the restored recording studio if you'd like. This will run you about $500 a night, but you know what? It might be worth it for that Kiss fan. I'm actually considering it. In Why I Love Kiss news, Paul Stanley denies Gene Simmons knows the last day and date of their farewell tour. Paul's like, really? Tell me. In November, Kiss's Gene Simmons told Page Six that the band had added another 100 cities to the End of the Road farewell tour, and also claimed that they knew the last day and the date of the tour, which has been ongoing since 2019. So it seems like this is all news to Paul Stanley. Paul stated that Gene's assertions are false. He says, I love Gene to death. He's my brother. We've been together forever. Stanley said when asked about Simmons' comments, he said, if you put a microphone or a camera in front of him, there's no telling what he's going to say. Do you know the date of the last show? No. Are we adding 100 shows? I don't plan on being there. Paul does acknowledge, however, that the End of the Road has gone on longer than expected due to the fan demand. He also revealed that he knows where it will end, if not when. Ozzy Osbourne opened up about the negative consequences experienced by his family after their reality TV show, The Osbournes. The show aired on MTV from 2002 to 2005 and made the whole family celebrities. Ozzy explained that the fame that came with the success of the show soon became unmanageable for his family, particularly Kelly and Jack, who began struggling with alcohol and substance abuse. With that being said, they're doing it again on a reboot called Home to Roost, which will be on the BBC. They seem to be in a much better place since then, so I'm going to look forward to checking it out. The show on MTV was the start of reality/scripted reality TV shows, and I think that success they had came so quickly that they didn't know what to do with it. So hopefully, like I said, they're in a much better place now, and I really do look forward to seeing it. In more Ozzy news, Jimmy Page and Ozzy could have had an epic collaboration, but the Led Zeppelin member refused to take the offer. Ozzy's new record has an all-star lineup, but Page refused, saying he didn't play much more anymore, although he recently said that he wanted to be seen playing guitar again. In an upcoming interview with Classic Rock, the guitarist hinted that he refused to work with Osbourne, at least for now, as he was focusing in on upcoming projects instead. In fact, he said on several occasions that he wanted to play guitar in public again, and he assured fans that they would be getting new stuff from him pretty soon. Now on to your Journey update. Former frontman Steve Perry canceled a lawsuit challenging Sean's attempts to register 20 trademarks on behalf of the band for use for merchandise. Perry's complaint basically said that when Sean went forward registering his trademarks, that everybody should have had prior written unanimous consent from all the parties from the band Journey. As of January 4th, however, the singer dismissed the challenge with prejudice, meaning that it can't be relaunched. So Neil celebrated the progress on Twitter, saying no more lawsuit with Steve, time to talk, but Sean continued, suggesting that Perry's dropped lawsuit damages one of Kane's arguments against him. He had commented, so much for Kane trying to throw me underneath the bus, as he claimed I was blatantly trying to rip off Steve while collecting the checks for the very diligent work my wife and myself did to protect our merchandise. Time for coffee, is what he wrote. But Neil lobbed yet another accusation towards Kane's way, sending a cease and desist letter to his wife, famed televangelist Paula White Kane, accusing her of improperly accessing Journey's bank accounts. Paula White Kane, in case you don't know, is Trump's spiritual advisor. So Paula's signature apparently began appearing on Journey-related bank documents as far as July of 2020. So the request is to remove her from any banned accounts, as her involvement contradicts the existing agreement between Mr. Sean and Mr. Kane. Paula is a co-trustee of Jonathan's personal trust, therefore Jonathan and Paula signed as co-trustees for Jonathan's personal trust. So one fan actually asked, how could Sean and Kane go on about their business of the tour with all this legal feud going on? And Sean basically said, we will channel the music and we will honor it. But wait, there's more. Neil Sean's wife recently said that 2 Journey band members are adamantly against Greg Rowley's return. So earlier this month, Sean had hinted that Rowley would make an appearance in the band's upcoming tour, presumably to replace longtime keyboardist Jonathan Kane, who he's feuding with. Neil, who has a lot of presence out there on social media, basically commented, you can call it premature, but to me there was nothing to talk about. It's honoring 50 years, it's a no-brainer, it's where it all started. Plus, if you can replace the guy you're feuding with, all the better. That last part was mine. So now Jonathan Cain is suing Neil Schon for charging $1 million to the Journey account. Cain has accused Schon of misusing the card to pay for his own personal expenses. So the Journey card is actually an American Express card, and the card is linked to Nomota, which is a limited liability corporation that Cain and Schon established in 1998. And they both have a 50% stake in the company. So regardless, despite everything going on here, the tour is set to start pretty soon here, and the first court date's actually going to be scheduled for March 3rd. Peter Frampton announces a free one-night-only special concert. Frampton announced that this one-night-only special performance is set to take place on January 22nd on the campus of Middle Tennessee State University in Nashville. The great thing about this, the concert's going to be free to attend, but it's also going to be filmed for later viewing as part of a special broadcast presentation presented by Sky Arts. This will be Frampton's first live performance since the completion of his farewell tour last November. Frampton was forced to retire from his extensive touring as a result from IBM, which is inclusive body myositis, which he was diagnosed with back in 2015. The disease is characterized by chronic progressive muscle inflammation, which is also accompanied by muscle weakness. Given that he's living with this condition, I really look forward to any future performances that he's able to do. The band U2 is recording a new album that's going to have 40 new versions of their old songs. Their upcoming album, Songs of Surrender, will feature 40 reworked versions of songs from their back catalog. The song Lion Eyes is one of the Eagles' biggest songs. Don Henley and Glenn Frey basically got the idea of writing that song when they went to one of their favorite restaurants in Los Angeles. They were struggling musicians at the time, and they remember thinking about all these beautiful women that were there and assumed that they were cheating on their husbands. And so while they were at the restaurant, they saw a stunning young lady and this fat, much older, wealthy man, according to Glenn Frey. And he said, "Look at her. She can't even hide those lion eyes." And then the rest is history. This past week has been really hard for rock and roll fans. Within a very short time, we lost Jeff Beck, Robbie Bachman, David Crosby, and Lisa Marie Presley. Robbie provided that pounding beat for BTO when he joined his brother Randy Bachman to form Bachman Turner Overdrive. The band released their self-debut album in 1973, and I'm telling you, being a young, influential person who started in music in the 70s as a little kid, the songs Let It Ride, Taking Care of Business, You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet, and Rolling Down the Highway are absolute classic rock staples. Jeff Beck is known as one of the greatest guitar players in the world and probably one of the most influential as well. He started out his career with the Yardbirds, then he went solo and did multiple different appearances and collaborations with different artists throughout his career. His ability to utilize feedback, as well as his unique playing style of using his thumb and his finger in the whammy bar with volume swells, was just incredible. He is greatly going to be missed in the guitar community. David Crosby ended up setting up two major bands in the 1960s, the Byrds and Crosby, Stills and Nash. Crosby joined the Byrds in 1964, and the band is known for their hit songs Mr. Tambourine Man and Turn, Turn, Turn. In 1968, he formed Crosby, Stills and Nash. They ended up winning the Grammy Award for Best New Artist in 1969. When I just see the name Lisa Marie, it carries so much power as that name represents rock royalty. Lisa Marie Presley was the only child of Elvis Presley and Priscilla Presley. She did have the opportunity to follow in their dad's footsteps, in 2003 releasing her debut album, To Whom It May Concern. Her first single, Lights Out, debuted at number 18 on the Top 40 chart. The pop rock album actually sold 142,000 copies within the first week, and it debuted at number 5 on the Billboard's Top 200 chart and was certified gold within the first 2 months of release. She went on to release 2 more albums, Now What in 2005 and Storm and Grace in 2012, which included several duets with her late father. One of the most notable, she did a duet with Elvis of his song In the Ghetto, which actually reached a top spot on iTunes in the UK, Australia, Canada, Ireland, Germany, and New Zealand. Lisa Marie spent a lot of time doing charity work and a number of humanitarian efforts that she was a part of, as she was the chairperson of the Elvis Presley Charitable Foundation alongside the management team at Graceland Elvis Presley Enterprises. She also became a part of the Dream Factory, which was a charity that worked with granting wishes to terminally ill children. I think one of the greatest rock and roll stories that people might not know about was the time that Lisa Marie Presley gave Freddie Mercury one of Elvis's scarves. Now, Elvis was known for his wild outfits, and it often included scarves. He would regularly remove his scarf, and he would give it to some lucky fan in the audience. When Lisa Marie was about 10 or 11 years old, Priscilla took her to go see her first rock concert, which was the band Queen. Lisa Marie recalled giving Freddie Mercury the scarf after a show. He said that he loved it. She was also a huge fan of Queen. She said she loved the band, she loved the theatrics, and she loved Freddie Mercury. Freddie was admittedly a big Elvis fan. He actually wrote the song Crazy Little Thing Called Love as a tribute to Elvis.